Hi Prasad, good morning. Nice to see you. Morning. Just wait a couple of minutes for the rest to join. I'll start exactly in 5 minutes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning. If you need some water during your session, some of you may need it. You can just keep your water aside. You won't need a mat. You just need a small area like the area that you see in your screen. Hi Manish, good morning. Familiar faces here. We'll start in a couple minutes. Just wait for the rest. Good morning. Hi, Vidya. Good morning. Okay, I'm gonna start. So, welcome whoever have joined for today's session for Animal Flow. So, before we begin, what Animal Flow is about, I'll try to explain it in very simple words. It's actually a movement system. So, if you've seen some of my flows on Instagram or Facebook, some of you may have been very intrigued as to what this system is. It's actually what is known as a quadrupedal movement system. So you're basically on your fours. So as a runner, you know you're mostly on your toes. You're bipedal as a runner. You think you're a bipedal as a runner, but you're actually using all your limbs when you're running. So animal flow is a system which actually trains all these four limbs along with your core, and you are using your body as resistance on the ground. So this is mostly ground-based work where you be on your fours, you can be on your threes, sometimes you're even on your twos and ones. Okay? So it can get very simple, it can become very complex, but animal flow is a system that is meant for everybody. And today I have designed a session which is hopefully going to be, hi Sagar, good morning, which is hopefully going to be it's going to be simple. It's not going to be very complex. This is a beginner session for most of you. It may look easy, uh, but I'm not sure whether you will feel the same experience when you try it, because that's usually the experience and usually the feedback I get with my animal flow, with anyone's animal flow class for that matter. That it looks very simple when you see someone do it, but when you start it yourself, it can get really complex. So don't worry, even if you feel that it's too complex, this is something that takes time to adapt to. You may even experience some pain, especially on your wrist, and that's because you're going to spend a lot of time on your hands. Hi, Aparna. Good morning. So, animal flow is about spending a lot of time on all your limbs, not only your legs but also your hands. And this makes it a great cross training option for runners because runners we spend a lot of time on our legs but not much time on our hands. So this gives you a great opportunity to work not only on your core but also on your hands. And in Animal Flow's own words, it's not about being good, on all fours on the floor. It's about transferring those benefits of being on all fours to all twos. So it tries to make you a better human animal. Is what they say. So I'm going to start without much ado. So let me just show you first the flow that you will be doing today. By the way, what is the flow in animal flow? Animal flow has many components. It's got 6 components actually, and I'm going to be showing you just few of them because it's a beginner's class. The last component of animal flow is actually the flow. So flow means a series of movements which are connected together, and it almost feels seamless. So some flows are designed in such a way that you can go on and on. In fact, today's flow which I'm going to be showing you is going to be designed in that way. You can keep looping as per your capacity, but some flows you can have a hard stop. So that's what a flow is. A flow is a series of steps, a series of movements that you can do together, and it can go on and on as much as you desire. All right. So uh, let's just start. So I'll start with the first component of animal flow, which is brisk mobilizations. Hi, Prachi. Good morning. It's brisk mobilization. So because you're going to be spending a lot of time on your hands, we actually mobilize or warm up our wrists very carefully in animal flow. We sometimes spend as much as 5 to 10 minutes. Some professional flowers will spend a lot of time on their hands. Okay. Hi, Alan. Good morning. So let's start with our wrist mobilization. So do this along with me. I'll give you instructions as we go. So the first mobilization that you're going to do is called a wrist roll. So in the wrist roll, you clasp your hands together like this. Okay, fingers interlock, and you just go. You basically create circles with your hands. Okay, so you go in one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now reverse the direction. 10, 9. Go really slowly here. So some people do this. Okay, so try to take your time because you're actually warming up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The next one is called the wrist wave. So again, interlock your fingers this way. Keep it at your mid chest level. Okay? And what you need to do is raise your elbow. You can choose whichever side arm you want to start with. So I'm going to start with my right. So raise your elbow. You are going to make a wave that will travel to your wrist, and that wave will travel to the other side. So it actually looks like this. So elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist. So you notice this action that happens. We are actually forcing our wrist to go through these movements, the flexion and extension. That is the idea of this movement. So elbow, do a namaste, then pull. Let the wave travel to the other side. Repeat. Elbow, namaste, pull, other side. Elbow, namaste, pull, other side. We do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So this looks very similar to that choreography that you see in some movie movies, but do this really slowly. Okay. Now repeat on the other side. So elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I know it's actually quite a challenge. It takes a while to get used to this, to make it look rhythmic. The next one is called the wrist wave. Okay. Oh, sorry. Wrist wave is something what I've just done. Lateral wrist is what I'm going to show you next. Lateral wrist is this. You again interlock your fingers. You keep it close to your mid sternum, your midline here in your chest, and you extend it out. Okay. Now I'm just showing you mistakes which happen when you do this for the first time. So most of you may do this. Okay? Most of you will do this. Some of you may come here and do this. The idea is to stretch this part of your wrist. This part. This is the lateral aspect of your wrist. The idea is to stretch that. Okay? So if you do this, you're stretching the other areas of your wrist. You're basically stretching this. You need to stretch this. So for that, ensure that your palms are always facing down. So don't let your, I should not be able to see your palms. So if you're seeing yourself, that happens with many people. So what happens is, I tell you this mistake happens because sometimes you try to get full extension here. So in this desire to get full extension at the elbows, some people will do this. So you don't need to go all the way here. Okay? Go as far as you can. Your elbows can be bent. Notice my elbows are bent. Your elbows can be bent, but ensure that you're still keeping. So I think still keeping your palms facing down. And once you do that, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to experience that lateral aspect stretching. So just do a couple of these. One, two. You can go all the way, but at the same time, you should not be able to show me your arms. Three, four. So a lot of work in armor flow is preparatory. The actual flow, if you notice, will be close to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. In fact, you'll notice, especially if you come for my classes, for a 1 minute flow, we actually choreograph it for an hour. It's actually a 1 hour session just to perform that 1 minute flow. So flows are very demanding in that sense. So don't underestimate it. Even if it's 1 minute, in our case, it will be around 30 seconds. But you will feel that for that 30 seconds, I have to perform a lot of work. So this is all the preparatory work that goes into granular flow. Okay? So that was lateral wrist. The next is called magnetic wrist. So for magnetic wrist, you have to think as though your wrists are magnetic. They will never leave contact. They will always stick together as you perform this motion. So basically, you're going to go in and out, but your wrists, observe my wrists are always in contact. Your wrists are never going to be apart here. So this is not allowed. This is not allowed. Your wrists always have to be in contact with each other as you go through this motion. So this is known as magnetic wrist. So you can keep your hands like this. We'll go for 10 rounds in one direction. Your thumbs will go in first, then your other fingers, then your other fingers. At the same time, your wrists are not leaving contact. That's one round. Thumbs go in first, then the other fingers, second round. You can speed this up. 3, 4, 5, 6. You can think of this, if you really want to think of it, you can think of it as handcuffs, a handcuff position. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you reverse direction. So you can start here. This time your pinky fingers are going to go in first, then your other fingers. Notice the wrists are still in contact. They're going to go. This again. Pinky fingers go in first, then the other fingers. Your wrists are still in contact. You open it out. These are still in contact. 8 rounds. 7, 3, 2, relax. The next one is called wrist relief. You're going to be using this position a lot in animal flow, especially if you're a beginner. It is meant to provide relief to your wrists because in animal flow, most of the time, your hands are going to be like this. You're going to be in this position, so back to front, straight. You'll mostly be in this position. You'll be on your hands a lot. So it may hurt you. If you're doing this for the first time or you're new to it, it may hurt you being in this position. So this is given as a relief. Anytime you feel fatigue or you feel that something is hurting you in animal flow, you just get into this position. Okay? This is known as the wrist relief position. So in this wrist relief position, your back of the palms are touching each other and they never leave. Okay? So this will not happen. Okay? Your back of the palms are touching each other and your elbows. Try to bring your elbows down. Try to bring your elbows down. So this is known as a wrist relief position. So if you want to take it further, you can actually go down, come up, go down, come up, go down, and you can relax. So some people may also do a wrist relief like this. You can do this way also. The only idea is from here, from this position, you're trying to give relief and you're bringing your wrist in this position. So anytime you feel you're doing an arm flow, you're getting tired, do this. Just do this. Some people can actually bring their elbows really down. So the idea is get your elbows only as close as it allows you without letting this loose contact. You can go down and come up, go down. By the way, all of these wrist exercises that I'm showing you, the wrist mobilizations, you can also use them when you're not doing animal flow. This is very helpful for those who are desk-based, got desk-based jobs, you do a lot of typing, which most of us do. You can actually get into any of these wrist mobilizations, and trust me, it can give you relief. This one in particular tends to give many people relief. All right. So that was it. There is just one more, and it's called the Shaka movement. And most of our flowers who we train, they call it the Damru. That's how they identify. So basically, it's this. Your fingers are this way, and you just do this. So even this gives relief. Anytime you feel that your wrists are getting hurt, you need some relief, you can also use this. It's called the Shaka. Okay, so these are some of the wrist mobilizations. Now the second component we'll get to. This one is a little tough. Now it's going to get tougher from here. It's called an activation. But before I do an activation, what I wanted to do is we'll take this action a little bit further. So if you can see me, I'm going to be on my palms. I just want you to be on your palms. Don't think too much about where your legs are right now. Just be on your toes. Okay? Right now, there are 6 points of contact on the ground. You've got your 2 feet in contact with the ground. You've got your knees in contact with the ground and your 2 hands. Ensure you have 6 points in contact with the ground. Now, I want you to come forward. Your palms do not leave the ground. Just come forward and rub. The idea is to go past this 90 degrees. Go past it as much as it allows you. Once you get comfortable going past it, go around in a circle. One, ensure that your hands stay on the ground, they don't lift. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Now reverse direction. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, one. You can do the shaka. You can do this relief. The next part what we're going to do is, and observe this carefully, I'm going to take one palm, twist in the other direction. So in this case, my left hand fingers are pointing towards my knees. So what I'm doing is, from here, I'm going here. So I'm going to start with my left hand, reverse direction of your left hand. So now you'll be able to see your palm. You'll be able to see your palm of the left hand. Now I want you to go back without losing contact with the ground. Go as much as it allows you. Be just shy of pain. Don't go so much and give you too much pain. Just be shy of pain and come back. We'll do four more on this side. Four, three, two, and one. Relax. Reverse the direction of the other hand. So I'll just reverse my direction. The other hand is reversing direction. One, two, three, four. Relax. Shut up. Just relief. Now we'll get into the tough part of animal flow. So it's called an activation. The actual flow will start somewhere around 7:30. You notice how much time we are spending just to get prepared for the flow, because the actual flow is going to be difficult. So we're spending a lot of time getting prepared for the flow. Second part is called activation. These activations, by the way, whether you know animal flow or no, these activations can also be used as a standalone workout. You will notice that some of these activations are very tough, and you will be able to see your own strength deficiencies and where there are imbalances. So some of these activations that I'm going to show you can also function as corrective exercises, and they work a lot on your core. So it's actually a core movement that we're going to do now. So I'll start with something simple so that all of you can follow, and then it will get more and more complex. All right. So let's start. So now this is a good opportunity to introduce you to the base positions of animal flow. So if you notice, I'm in this position right now. This is known as a baby beast. B-E-A-S-T. It's a baby beast. Why it's a baby? Because there are 6 points in contact with the ground. And you notice, you may be familiar with this position. If this is the tabletop or the quadruped position that you mostly do your exercise. So in animal flow, it takes a quad pair a bit further. So now your knees come closer to your palms. If you notice from here, my knees come closer to the palms. The idea is to keep about a palm width distance between your palm and your knees. Ideally, they say in animal flow that your navel, wherever that line drops from your navel, that's where your knee should go. So some people are not able to visualize where their navel is and where it is falling in the ground. So this is the cue I give them. Keep a palm's distance between your hand and your knees, and you just be in that position. Okay, not this way, but neutral. So this is called the baby beast position. This is one. The second position is this. It's called a crab. So I want all of you to do this. Just sit like this as you're relaxing on the beach. This is the crab position. Again, since there's no such thing called a baby crab, but if there was, this would be it. Where your glutes, your butt is on the ground. The actual crab position is where your butt is lifted 1 inch off the ground. Some people can lift very less, as though only a paper can pass through. That is the ideal. But some people lift this much. This is not allowed in animal flow. In animal flow, you always hover 1 inch, maximum 1 inch over the ground. There are some positions where you're hovering very high over the ground, but in most, in these base positions, you try to keep 1 inch off the ground. So this position, where your butt is 1 inch off the ground, your feet and your hands are in contact with the ground, and you are looking somewhere. Where are you looking? You are looking at the rising sun. As though the sun has just broken up the horizon. From the horizon, the sun has risen, and you're looking at that rising sun. With a proud chest, not like this, with a proud chest. You can expand your chest as you're looking at the sun very proudly. observing. So this is the base position of animal flow, and this is known as the crab. So I've shown you two main positions. So in flows, you will see people transitioning between these beasts and crabs. Now I'll show you the active beast, and this will be a little tough for some of you. So this is baby beast. In case some of the flows are difficult for you, you can always return to baby beast position. I'll tell you as and when we do the flow, you come to know where you can use this position. So everybody get into this position, the baby beast. 6 points are in contact with the ground. So instead of quadruped, you're here. Your knees are 1 palm width away from your hand. Now what I want you to do is just lift your knees 1 inch. Just lift your knees 1 inch off the ground and stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. I don't know, is it tough for many of you or was it easy? But this position which I just showed you, that's the beast position. It's one of the most important positions of animal flow. In fact, most flows originate and go through this position. Yes, let's do this again. Get on all fours first. Right now, notice that 6 points are in contact with the ground. However, just lift your knees an inch off the ground and stay there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. If you feel your wrists are hurting, get into wrist relief position. Again, ready? 1 inch off the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. So this is one activation. It's actually the easiest activation you will see. Now we go to the tougher activation. Get to this. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to activate your limbs separately. Your hands will activate separately. Your legs will activate separately. So we'll do the hands activation. So be in the base position. Now if I say left hand up, you're going to lift your left hand. Also, my left hand is lifting up. This is not happening. You are not bending at your elbows. You are going to pull from your scapula, your shoulder. Your shoulder is going to pull. Okay? Now, if you find this difficult from these, your knees are 1 inch off the ground, try it in baby knees. So, in fact, let's try from baby knees so that you get an idea of what this baby is. Get into baby knees for it. I want you to lift your left hand up without bending your elbows for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Lift your right hand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Now, if this was easy, try the progression. The progression is being released. That means your knees are 1 inch off the ground. Now you try lifting your left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Lift your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Relax, guys. Relax. So you notice one thing. This is very difficult to do. Because what's going to happen is this. So I'll show you from my front view. This is going to happen with most of you. You're going to be here. And as you lift, I'm going to exaggerate my movements just to show. As you lift, this kind of shifting you will notice is happening. Something like this may happen. Okay? That is because there is lack of core strength. The idea of this activation is to behave in such a way as though nothing happened, as though no limb was taken off. So you have to be very stable. The activation or the exercise is in trying to stabilize yourself. If you take off one hand in these, you have to stabilize yourself in such a way that if somebody is looking at you, they will see that nothing is moving. Only this person's arm is moving. And that itself is difficult. Okay? This exercise, and you may notice that on one side there is a lot of shift versus the other side which is more stable. That means that side, that line of yours has some weakness which you can work on. Okay? Coordination, yeah. Coordination is definitely Yeah, not only coordination, even your strength. You will come to know where there is a strength deficit. So some of you will be here, you will literally shift a lot. So you have to try to resist that shift. Okay, let's do this again now. Now let's start in beast. That means your knees are 1 inch off the ground. Your left hand goes up 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Right hand goes up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Relax. Now we do the easier part, which is the legs. For runners, the legs are very, very easy. So, take the beast. Now for the legs, you just have to lift your foot. Behave as though nothing has changed in your body. Somebody is observing you. It should feel like nothing has changed in this person's position. Okay? So don't destabilize so much. So don't do something like this. Don't destabilize. Try to maintain your stability. Okay? Let's do the legs. Start with the left first. Get into these. Lift your left foot for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. Right foot 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left foot 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right foot 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. If you need this relief, this relief. So this was just the limbs. Now comes the tougher part. This is the progression. This is where you're going to lift opposing limbs. So your one hand and your opposite leg, both of them are going to lift. So if I have to demonstrate, I'm going to demonstrate it. So if I say left hand, right foot, so from these here, left hand and right foot are going to lift, and they're going to be off the ground. They come down. If I say right hand, left foot, so basically your opposing limbs are lifting. That's called a contralateral limb lift. That means opposite limbs are lifting. Let's try this. Some of you may feel that this is easier, and some of you may feel that this is very tough. Cheating, what happens here, what we generally see. When you get into this position, suddenly to get stability, people will start widening. Okay, or they'll do something like that. They will widen their stance. Cheat. So they'll do something like this. Okay? So that cheating is not allowed. Your hands are always supposed to be at your shoulder width, feet hip width. Okay, so keep those pointers in mind. Hands shoulder width, not here, not here also, just shoulder width. Legs hip width. Now you try contralateral limb on my count. Get into beast. Lift your left foot, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press relief if you need it. So this was a contralateral limb lift. We do the same thing now. What we have done in crab position. What we have done was in beast position. Now we do it in crab position. So your butt stays 1 inch off the ground. You're watching the rising sun with a proud chest. Lift your right hand. Again, when you're lifting your hand, it should lift up the shoulder joint. So this should not happen. No bending at the elbows. It should just lift like this. You're lifting at your shoulders. Right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax. Now we do the contralateral. So, get over here. Left hand, right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. Right hand, left foot together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, last round. Left hand, right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down, opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax and listen. So these are some of the activations. You may have noticed that there's a lot of swaying that happens in one direction, and this is weakness in that direction. You can use this as a standalone core workout. Right? Now let me demonstrate the flow, which you guys will actually be doing. Don't just observe it. This is what all of you will be doing. And I'm going to train you how to do it. So start with this position. This position is known as loaded beast. We walk the beast. We push the ground away, and the back of our hands are going to come together. We're going to come on the balls of our feet. We're going to return back to that position. We're going to get back to beast. We're going to jump behind the loaded beast. We're going to create a wave with our spine. So that's going to be the flow. It's barely 10 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds. But you'll notice it will take the remaining 20 minutes just to learn this. Alright? Yes, Divyesh, I mean, these exercises are great for everything, strength, power, endurance, flexibility, everything. Okay, so now let's learn the loaded beast. The loaded beast position is a little difficult position because your knees are going to be lifted off the ground. So this what I showed you is a static beast. This is just a beast. Loaded beast is when your hips are sitting back and your knees are still lifted off the ground. And your hands are as far apart as they can go, as further as they can go. So this position is the loaded beast position. So some of you may feel that this is very similar to a child's pose. In fact, a child's pose is something like that. The feet may be this way. So the only difference now in animal flow is that you notice my toes are tucked under like this. And I'm sitting back, meeting my hips, with my knees lifted. My knees have to be lifted. One common mistake what we see most beginners go through is this. So they will do something like this. You notice my knees are very high. Get too far apart from the ground. Again, keep that 1 inch rule. Your knee should be only 1 inch above the ground. So one way to get that, I'll show you from the front view. One way to get that, if you're struggling to get your knees 1 inch below the ground, 1 inch above the ground, is flare your knees and try to push your hands further ahead so that you can get close to the ground. So this is one way. So most people, if you see them in a front view in loaded beast, they are like this only. But some people will also see them like this, which is acceptable. It's allowed in animal. It allows you to keep that rule of 1 inch above the ground. So let's practice this position. I want you to be in beast. So I'm going to say set loaded beast, set beast. I'm going to use these words. So when I say set, it means come in that position. So set beast. Your knees are 1 inch off the ground. I want you to just walk your hands ahead. Walk it ahead, walk it ahead, walk it ahead. And as you're walking ahead, tear your knees so that you can stay 1 inch off the ground and just stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. So this is quite difficult on your knees. Again, you feel that your thighs are suddenly burning up. Again, if you feel that you can't do this, it's too difficult, then you can keep your knees on the ground. That's a regressed version. It's a regression where you keep your knees on the ground. This is an absolute regression. But the ideal loaded beast today, your knees are lifted off the ground. So again, let's start this. Set beast. That means your knees are going to be 1 inch off the ground. I want you to walk your hands ahead. Walk your hands ahead. Flare your knees as you're walking ahead. Keep the knees 1 inch off the ground and stay there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So that position is known as a loaded beast. So we're going to do one part of the flow now. I'm going to start in loaded beast. So I'm going to say set loaded beast. means that I'm starting in this position. I wanted to start here and then I'm going to say set beast. I just wanted to walk the beast. So this is one part of the flow. Let's do it all together from the top. You can adjust your space in your room so that you're able to do this flow. So set loaded beast. Your hips are loading. So your hands are ahead. Your knees are flared out and 1 inch off the ground. Set beast. I want you to walk, walk, and relax. This is one part of the flow. Now from here, after you come here, I want you to push and get into a squat. So if there's anybody here who cannot deep squat, is there anyone here who cannot do a deep squat? A deep squat is basically, it's a squat. It's called an ape. This position in animal flow is called an ape. It's actually a deep squat. So if anyone here has some restriction, they cannot go deep, it's fine. You can stay as much as you can. Okay? The idea is to get here. This is called deep ape. Okay? So we're going to get into this position from here. So get into static beast. Knees 1 inch off the ground. Push the ground away. And get here. In your deep squat. Let's do that again. Static beast. Push the ground away. Get here. Now, once you're here, you need to do this. So this is called a reach. A reach position is where the back of your hands, your back of your hands are touching each other. They are 1 inch off the ground, and your head is completely bent as much as you can. Try to put your head between your hands and your hands 1 inch off the ground. So that's called the A reach position. We are deeply flexing here. We are completely going into flexion over here. By flexion, I mean we're trying to bend. This position is what I'm talking about. And if you feel, so some people do this. Okay, again, you notice this gap is too much. You need to draw the hands closer, 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 so that your fingers are just 1 inch off the ground. Okay. So that position is known as A reach. Now, from here to get to here is a little technical. So some people may not be able to do this in one shot. So if you can't do this in one shot, no problem. You just push the ground away, get into your A position, and once you're here, then you do. So try this for yourself. Get into this position. See if you can push the ground away and immediately get into reach. If you can't do that, it's absolutely fine. You can start in beast, push the ground away to get into air, and from air you can get into. I'm just cutting that step short so that you can push the ground away and directly go into reach. All right? So just try that. We do this from the top. Set loaded beast. So you're going to start loaded beast. Set beast. You're going to walk. Ape reach. So now push the ground away and get into reach. Now the next step. Relax. Relax everyone. The next step is going to be open. This for a runner is absolutely critical. Yeah, this step for a runner is absolutely critical and it's a little difficult to nail. You will feel that you're losing balance when you're doing this. This is called the open position from a reach. So once you're here, I want you to open. So you're going to open your hands. Let me just go a little further apart so that you can see this clearly. You're going to get into reach position. You're going to open your hands. And while you're doing that, notice what is happening to my foot. I'm actually getting to the balls of my feet. I'm getting to the balls of my feet. From here, I'm transferring my weight over here. Once you're here, you can lift yourself slightly and just stay there. You'll notice your thighs will burn. Relax. So that position is known as an open position. It's one of the most difficult positions because you've got to balance yourself. When you're balancing yourself, some people will tend to do this. They will extend their hands really far. You don't need to do that. You just need to come at shoulder level. And how are your palms going to be facing? The palms are going to be facing up. So imagine you have diyas in your hand and the diyas are not supposed to fall. Think of that. So when you're going from A reach and you're opening, you're holding diyas. Diyas are not supposed to fall and they're going to be at shoulder level, not here, not here. And you're not going to be looking in this direction. You will be looking in the front, but you will be actually seeing from your what is known as peripheral vision. You're going to use a nearby vision to see where your hands are. So use your peripheral vision to see where your hands are. So don't go here. Just be in line with your shoulders. Okay? So let's try that. Try this from the A reach position. To get to A reach, your back of the palms touching each other, 1 inch off the ground. Your fingers are 1 inch off the ground. Open. So now you're going to shift the weight. So balls of our feet. Open, 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 open. And if you can elevate yourself slightly. Rise up slightly. Return to A breathe. You're going to reverse that motion and come back down. So some of you, will lose this balance here. Some of you will find it very difficult to raise your heel. Okay? But the idea is to completely raise your heel and transfer the weight to the ball of the foot. This is the idea. All right? Okay, so let's do this now from the top. Okay? Your starting position. Set loaded beast. Set beast. Walk up. Ape reach. Push the ground away directly. Open. Transfer the weight to the balls of your feet. You're holding diyas. The diyas are at shoulder level, not past. Return to ape reach. So you're going to reverse that motion and come back down to your ape. Now you're going to set these. That means you're going to return to this position. All right, relax. That's nice. This is going to be tough. You'll notice you feel very winded. If you want to drink your water, you can drink it now. If you need a towel, you can wipe yourself. Okay? So relax. So your flow is almost done, like 70% done. There is only one new movement which I have to teach you. This movement, by the way, if you're familiar with yoga, so some of my students, they have said it is very similar to a Hindu push-up. Some of them have said that it is similar to the downward dog. So if you're familiar with yoga, this may be a little familiar, but you will notice there is a motion which happens with the spine. I want you to pay attention to that motion. And that motion is a little difficult to grasp initially. Okay? So spend your time in this motion that I'm going to show you. I want you all to get into a beast position. Get into beast. Set loaded beast. So you can walk your hands. So there are many ways of getting into loaded beast. So one way is this, that you can walk your hands ahead. One way. The other way is that you can jump behind. So this will be compact to loaded beast. You're going to jump. So I'm going to use a jumping version. Just see if it's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, if jumping is not comfortable for you, then you can just walk your hands ahead. Use whichever version you are comfortable with. So I'm going to say compact to loaded beast. So from beast, pop back to loaded beast. So I want to be in this position now, in loaded beast position. And now observe, just observe, don't do anything, just observe what's happening. From loaded beast, I'm going to lift my hips first Once I reach the peak position, so this position, if you notice, let me come ahead and show you what's happening at my foot. So in the downward dog, I think your feet are completely in contact with the ground, but here your feet are elevated. In animal form, this is what we call peak position. Once you reach the peak position, your head, your chin will tuck. So you will actually bend your head inside and you will travel forward. You will keep traveling forward as though you're about to do a push up, but you are almost getting into a plank. So from here, you're going to bend your head, you're going to go forward, 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 forward. If you can go more further, you notice now there's a lot of, you will notice that there's a lot of pressure on your wrist. You will not be able to go further. That is when you will stop going further and you will start descending. And then you will look upwards towards the sky. And when I say return to loaded beach, you're just going to reverse that motion. That you're going to tuck your chin first. Everything else stays the same. Just tuck your chin. Round your back. Reach peak position. Once you reach the peak position, then you can come down back to loaded beach. So this is the unloading. It's the motion your spine is taking. So you have to learn that motion. So you cannot just repeat. And I'll show how it works. From loaded beast, lift the hips first, reach your peak position. Let the wave travel, 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 travel. You can travel no further. That's when you descend your hips. They always stay 1 inch off the ground. If you're not going completely on the ground, always stay 1 inch off the ground. So you look on top, come back, round your back first, reach your peak position, and then come back. Okay? So that will actually end your flow. What we have to do for today. So let's try that. Let's get into loaded beast. So set loaded beast. I'm going to say wave unload. So you're going to lift your hips first. Reach this position first. Travel, travel, travel. And your chin is going to be tucked as you're traveling. Once you can go no further, you're going to descend, 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 descend. And at the end, the last step is your head lifting. Your head does not lift the whole time. Your head will lift right at the end. Then return back to loaded base. Now your head will start to reach your peak position and then you're going to lift forward. So that will end your flow. So now let's do this for a couple more rounds and you'll be done in about 6 minutes. Alright? From the top. If you need to drink water now, now is a good time. If you need a break, I'll just give you some 30 seconds break. And flow sessions can get very invigorating, they can get very tiring. So if you notice that flow, which I showed you, is like a 10-second, 15-second flow, but it can really tire you. You're doing it. Even a 3-minute flow is very exhausting. You feel very exhausted. You can run for hours and days, but animal flow, just doing it for like 3-5 minutes, you get very exhausted. So it's a great, you can actually vary a lot with animal flow. You can convert it into a metabolic workout, you convert it to a strength workout, power workout, endurance workout, anything. Okay? Let's start. Loaded beast. Your knees are spread out 1 inch off the ground and your hands are completely ahead. Set beast. You're going to walk. Ape reach. Push the ground away and open. So now you're going to shift your weight forward, balance, 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 balance. You're holding ears. The ears should not fall. And now you're at shoulder level. Return to ape reach. Close. Close, close, close. 1 inch off the ground. That's your flow. So if you notice, I started and I ended exactly in the same spot. So as per your endurance and as per your strength, you can keep repeating this. Some people are known to do this for like 10, 20 minutes also. So just like you do Surya Namaskar in a cycle, you can also do this in a cycle, this particular flow. Okay? We'll do this 4 times. We'll be done for the day. Step low release, everyone. Knees are flared out. Hands right ahead. Step beast. Walk to beast. Ape reach. You will push your back away. Back of your comfort together. 1 inch of the ground. Open. Your weight shifts ahead on the balls of your feet. Your hands. Your shoulder level. If you want challenge, you can elevate your tongue slightly. Return. Ape reach. Step beast. Pop back to loaded beast. Jump back. Wave unload. Raise your hips. Reach peak position. Tuck your chin. Travel forward. Extend your hips. Untuck your chin. Return back to loaded beast. Tuck your chin first. Bend your shoulders. Then reach peak position. Then come back down. And relax. I think this should be good for most people because you'll be tired. Okay? Relax. Let's end our session with wrist mobilizations. All animal flow sessions start and end with wrist mobilizations. All right. So relax. You can sit down for this if you want. Clasp your fingers. Thank you, Munir. Thank you for joining. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side. 5, 4, 3, 2. Jump throughs are they are you should not be taking them for an absolute beginners class. They can be very complicated, but if you want to learn them, of course I take classes at Explore Runner. You can always join for classes. This is where we teach most of the other movements. So jumping is considered it's just almost plyometric. So we don't introduce jumping so quick, so early a beginner's animal. Thank you for your question, Anamika. All right. Next, waves. Reverse the waves. Lateral wrists. So again, clasp your fingers, hands at the middle of your chest. Go out. I should not be able to see your palm. Come back. Go out. Come back. Go out. Come back. Go out. Come back. Go out. And come back. Magnetic wrists. And reverse direction. Once you reverse, you can actually get directly into this relief from here. Your elbows are down, back of the palms facing and touching each other. We are not losing contact. And the end, shaka. If at all you feel that this is going to hurt you, if your wrists are paining or something else is paining, allow yourself to adapt. It's fine. All these pains are very usual with animal flow. But in case this bothers you, you cannot do any work. If you feel that the pain is too much, then you can use any of the traditional recovery mechanisms, your icing, whatever suits you. Okay. So that is it. And the reasons why I chose these flows today for animal flow, especially the ape reach, the ones with the unloading of the spine, that is because, as runners, we actually hurt, we put a lot of stress on our spine, especially the lower back. So this wave unload gives good relief to your spine. The second thing is this ape reach position, where I ask you to open. So you notice this position where I ask you to get on the balls of your feet. This is very important for runners, this action. Okay? This is it activates something known as a windlass mechanism. I don't know if you know that, but basically, the reason I included this is to focus on your big toe mobility. You need to be really mobile on your big toe. You need to be able to take this load so that you can create a very stable base to push up from when you're running. If you can't do this, in fact, you can just test it yourself. Just pull your toe, just pull your big toe. You should be able to see your arch lift. Your arch should lift. Okay, so that action where your fascia, plantar fascia, is tightening and creating that arch to stabilize your foot. That stability is very important in the toe off. Okay, so that this is reach and open. This is the reason I'm asking you to shift your weight as much as you can to the balls of your feet. It is to give yourself an opportunity to give load to your toe when you're in this complete extension of your foot. I'm giving you that opportunity to practice this. So this skill will transfer to your running, okay, in your toe. All right, so I think this is it. I shall end the session today. If you've got feedback for us, you can put it in the chat. You can always check out my Instagram, jessica.maria.philip. I keep posting flows there every week. I take classes for extra runners. So anytime you need for yourself or your running group, you can get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to conduct classes. Okay, so bye guys. I think this is it. I'm going to end this. All right. Have a very good weekend and a very good long run tomorrow. All right. Bye. Yes. So, okay, squatting position is difficult. So, if squatting is difficult, let me show you this regression. So, if you cannot get into a deep squat, get as much as you can. If you absolutely cannot squat, stand. Get only as much as you can over here, and all your positions, your A reach, will be done in this position. If you can't squat, you can just stand and do it from this position. So you will hinge. You will perform a hip hinge instead. So you will hinge, get into reach, and then open. Alright? Thank you, Anamika. So, the thing with, see, you have to assess why is squatting difficult for you. If you have any restrictions, there could be restrictions anywhere in your chain. It is best to get this assessed by your trainer or by a physiotherapist. And they can work with you to deepen your squat. The deep squats are actually tough for many people, but it is, one of those things that gets better as you practice. You can even, animal flow, by the way, we recommend being barefoot. You can also do animal flow with shoes if you want. But in case you choose to do animal flow with shoes and you want more range, you may even choose those shoes which give you that heel height that allow you to get rid of that ankle restrictions in case you have ankle restrictions. There are a lot of restrictions that can prevent you from going into a deep squat. Ankle mobility is one of them. So it's best to get it assessed. Okay, you get unbalanced. Yes, it's good if you get unbalanced. You will get unbalanced, and the idea of this exercise is to train balance. Yes, so especially when you're doing the A reach, you'll definitely feel you're falling. That is where it's tough. It is tough. You will get used to it the more you practice. Okay? And this is what I was telling you all about. So when you see somebody do a flow, it looks very easy, but when you do it yourself, it gets a little complicated. So keep practicing, you will get there. Okay, so if there are no further questions, I shall end this. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. If you have any further questions, you can reach me on Instagram. You can even reach me on Facebook if you wish to. All right. So I shall end this. Bye, guys.